Hello and welcome to Make Your Website Work for You. I am Ashley Mays, the Adult Services Librarian for the Rustburg and Timbrook branches of Campbell County Public Libraries. I'm excited you're here with us today. For those of you that don't know about Grow with Google, it's an initiative that helps people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their business using Google tools. Today, you're going to learn the how to create a website that supports your business goals. Whether you're launching a new website or sprucing up an old one, this workshop will help you get the most out of your site. Let's get started. We know that today, more than ever, small businesses are getting online to connect with consumers and drive sales. After all, many of us are connecting with business from our own homes. It's important to make sure you update your website with critical information, news, and announcements affecting the operation of your business and your customers. Start by reviewing your website to identify products, services, and operations that may be affected. Then add information and resources to help your customers understand these changes. You may want to create a video message or series of messages. Continue to add updates when appropriate. This is a time of uncertainty for so many. Whatever you can do to assure your customers, whether it's informational or inspirational, will be helpful and appreciated. As many businesses shift all their operations online, it's more important than ever that your website works for your business. And Sean, feel free to ask any questions as we go. Let's start by reviewing web design. When people think of web design, they often think of the overall template, the look and feel. That is the graphics and layout that appears consistently throughout the website. That design is just one component of web design. Within the graphic template, there are lots of common elements that appear on most websites, including the header or top section of the website. The header usually includes a company logo in the left corner, and most website visitors expect that the logo will link to the home page. The footer or the bottom section of the website, the footer usually includes important links, contact info, and copyright info. Navigation, usually horizontally across the top of the site, below the header, or vertically on the left side of the website. The web design should lay out a set of guidelines that keep web pages consistent: colors, font sizes, font styles, and types of content. Some websites are designed and built from scratch. Many websites use a content management system, or CMS, like Shopify, Wix, WordPress, etc. Most CMS options include web-based tools to easily build, customize, and update a website. There are many options out there, and they are all a little different. If you're just getting started, review your options and find the software that you are most comfortable using. Whether you're building a website from scratch or using a content management system, all the principles from today's workshop will apply. In today's presentation, we are going to look at 6 characteristics of a great website. Remember that a website is not all about design. A great website is goal-oriented. How will it help grow your business? It's organized and easy to search. It's useful. Does your site provide useful content? It's functional. It's intuitive to use on any device. And last but not least, it's findable by search engines. You have to start by thinking about the goal of your website. What is the purpose of your website? Many business owners know that building a website is an important early step, but a website can be a lot more useful than it being just an online business card or brochure. With some advanced planning, you can create a site that helps your business grow. But how do you want to grow? You need to start by defining goals. Ask yourself, why do I want a website? What do you want it to do? Think of your site as a tool that can help you achieve business goals. The goals depend on your business, but some examples are build company brand, generate leads, make sales, re-engage customers, attract employees, provide customer support, and more. Next, think about your target audience. Who is your website for? This influences how you will build your site to achieve your goals. Your audience impacts everything from the graphic design to the words on the web pages. Your site should not try to be everything to everyone. Narrow in on your audience, not the world. Defining your target audience may sound simple, but it takes some effort. It's relatively easy to define an audience with demographic data like gender, age, and employment status. But if you stop there, it makes it more difficult for your business to stand out among competitors. And stereotypes about your audience can lead to false assumptions. Ask yourself, what makes your audience unique? Your goal is to develop a more complete picture of your target audience. For example, examine specific age ranges rather than one large range. Consider location, city, suburbs, rural, etc. Consider education level. Consider type of employment. Consider hobbies and interests, values. Consider their view of your product or service, necessity, nice to have, or a special treat. Once you have defined your audience, keep them in mind when moving forward with your site. Now that you're thinking about your goals and your audience, let's add another consideration to the mix: tracking and measuring. If you don't track and measure your website's performance, you won't have a way to make improvements. Well, any improvements based on data. Here's another way to think about it. Let's say you made some modifications to your bicycle to make it go faster. If you don't know your max speed before the modifications, how will you know if it worked? Similarly, you need to track and measure online success so you know what kind of improvements to make. You should always be testing. There are lots of ways to do it, some with more accuracy than others. You can start by simply asking your customers how they found you. Ask them when they call you on the phone, when they visit your store, or when you're corresponding by email. You can also get more precise by setting up a trackable phone number. If you advertise with Google, you can set up free call tracking, which records every time your ad results in a phone call. You can track the number of emails and form submissions from your website. If you have an e-commerce website, you can track sales. You can use web analytics software like Google Analytics to analyze visitor behavior on your website. Let's talk about Google Analytics briefly. Google Analytics is a free tool that can help you to better understand your audience and their activity on your website. This information will help you to make more strategic decisions for your business. When reviewing your Google Analytics data, you'll be able to learn which search terms and sources drive the most traffic, see demographic information for your most profitable customers, understand what content your audience is most interested in, and evaluate which channels drive the most conversions. If you set up Google Analytics for your website or app before 2020, or October 2020 rather, you will see an older version of the tool called Universal Analytics. If you are setting up Google Analytics for the first time, you will see a newer version. This information in this workshop applies to both versions of this software. If you want to learn more about Google Analytics, there are resources to help you get started, and you can search for those, and there are YouTube videos about it.
I have a question, Ashley.
Yes.
So, learn which search terms and sources drive traffic. In your experience, like sometimes when I'm looking at ads, I'll see that they put tags for things that are completely different than what it is just to try to get people to come to it. In your experience, do you think it's wise for businesses to do that, or do you think it's kind of like a shady technique?
Well, I think it can be shady when you drive traffic to something that you don't actually have. Excuse me. I know I've searched for things before, something to buy, for instance, and I've gone to the website and it looks like they have it and they don't have it at all. So that's irritating. I'm guessing they do it because they may have something similar and then they want you to hunt around and look for something. So I guess it just depends. Maybe have some broader search terms like that, but then, not make it so broad that you actually can't meet their needs upon searching for it.
That's a good idea.
I
Thank you.
don't know. To set up a Google Analytics account, first go to g.co/analytics. You'll start by either creating a new account or signing into your existing analytics account. Next, you'll need to set up a property in your analytics account if you haven't already done so. Try to say analytics 5 times in a row. Follow the instructions to add the tracking code to your website so you can collect data in your reports. If you use a content management system, like we were talking about before, such as WordPress, there may be a place to enter your Google Analytics tracking ID. Try searching your CMS's Help Center for how to add Google Analytics. Here's an example of one helpful Google Analytics report. This is part of a category of reports called audience reports. Audience reports provide insight into characteristics of your users, such as demographics, interests, geography, language and behavior, technology, and devices. Some business owners have preconceived notions about their customers, like typical age range, gender, interests, etc. Or maybe the preconceived notion extends to what visitors want or want to do on the website. Analytics can provide the data needed to understand your website visitors and potentially detect a mismatch. As you create or improve your website, you can use that information to fine-tune the site based on the data. So again, don't go with stereotypes of who or what your customer may be seeking, but there are tools out there to really nail down who they actually are and what your target audience should be. Now that we've talked about goals and tips for choosing a design, let's talk about the information within the website. A great website is well organized. Even if you don't have a lot of web pages now, your site should grow over time. Planning how existing and future content will fit into the framework of your website set up your site for success. Start with a plan, an information architecture plan. Information architecture, or IA, sounds technical, but you don't need to be a website designer, programmer, or an architect to create one. Simply put, it's a plan to organize information on your website. I like to think of it as an outline or a hierarchy. The IA maps out the sections, pages, and functionality of your site. There are several pages and sections found on most websites, including the home page, an About Us page or section, and a contact page. Depending on your business, you will probably include a products or service station too. But how do you organize that info? The best way is by considering your business goals. Earlier in this workshop, we talked about business goals. Think about those goals as you're planning out your website. Let's take a look at an example. This example business sells jewelry. You can see that their products are organized by jewelry type. Now think about your business and what your customer clients might be looking for when they visit your website. How can you organize that so there is an easy flow to your site? Here are a few tips to get you started. When you're choosing names and labels for parts of your site, keep them short and descriptive. And as you create your website plan, remember to keep the most important info in the main navigation. That information will depend on your business and your business goals. That plan can help you select the most important website design or template. To get started, define your target audience. You already did that earlier. Do you have any new ideas for your target audience? Either of you, Sean?
You said new ideas regarding my
Yeah.
target audience? Well, my website was for a blog, so I guess the target audience would be people who would be interested in that particular subject for the blog.
Uh-huh. And what do you want people to take away from your website when they look at it?
I guess more information regarding the particular subject.
Do you mind sharing what it is, or would you
The
rather?
subject? The subject, the blog subject is about finances and the FIRE movement when you're over 50.
Okay, cool. Well, so I guess and you don't have to say, I won't grill you, but your takeaway is to ask people what they want to take away from your website and think about the questions people ask you about your business. So a good idea is to make a list of keywords related to your business and see if you can incorporate those into the navigation or organization. Use lists to keep site content, colors, icons, imagery consistent with your goals, therefore creating a brand. And make a list of info or features you have or want to have on your website. And how will that information help you reach your business goals? And that's always the question you should have in the back of your head as you move forward with your website creation. We've talked about goals and organization. The next thing you need to consider is creating relevant content and experiences no matter what device your visitors use. And that's really important to think about because so many people today are accessing websites from a smartphone versus a computer like in years past. Let's talk about mobile. The image to the right shows a woman tapping her smartphone. Did you know that more than 50% of all web traffic is now coming from smartphones and tablets? Consumers expect to be able to use your website on their phones, and it shouldn't be hard to do. In fact, 46% of people say they would not purchase from a brand again if they had an interruptive mobile experience. Making your website work on mobile devices is no longer an afterthought, it's a priority. The good news is more and more websites are being built from the start with technology that automatically optimizes the website format to best fit the device it's being viewed on. This responsive web design adjusts the site's appearance to best present the info based on the size of the screen and type of device. But no matter what device a visitor uses, they have to find useful information on the site. So what is useful content? When you hear the term content, the first thing that probably comes to mind is text, like the words in a book. That's one type of content, but it also includes images, videos, downloads, tools, etc. For example, if your products are visual, you might want to add a photo gallery section. If your product needs to be set up, you might create a how-to video to help customers. If you sell cameras, you might offer downloadable PDF product manuals. Or if your customers need answers to questions, you can offer tools to help. For example, if your business delivers mulch to residential customers, create a mulch calculator to help them order the right amount. Think about your business. What content would be useful for your customers? What content would support your business goals? Whenever possible, create original, unique content. This can set your business apart from the competition. One more thing to keep in mind as you create and publish content on your website is to consider how customers might search on Google to find that content. Be sure to include those words and phrases in your content to help Google and other search engines find and index it. For example, let's use the example of a jogger who has developed plantar fasciitis. Your website might sell the perfect shoe inserts for plantar fasciitis, but what if she doesn't know why her feet hurt? Your website might include content that describes heel pain and helps her find your product. So I think that takes you back to your search terms comment earlier, Emily, as being broader than just looking up plantar fasciitis. If you didn't even know you had that, there might be broader search terms you can use or alternative search terms so someone could nail down exactly what they're searching for.
Yeah, like you might not know that you were looking for something until you get there.
Exactly. If you're not sure how people search on Google, try Google Trends. Google Trends is a free tool that you can use to understand the relative popularity of keywords over time, like the comparison of yoga terms in this mobile screenshot. You can use it to research keyword popularity and incorporate important keywords into your website content. Let's take a look at an example of a yoga studio that wants to create relevant content to help human visitors and Google understand what their website is about. Using Google Trends, the yoga studio can compare keyword popularity, vinyasa or restorative, flow or hot. So you would visit g.co/trends and enter the keywords or phrases you would like to compare. Narrow results by location by clicking on the state or region. You can adjust the date range and you view the results. So you could look at the past 12 months of data or the past 6 months. You can also see related queries to get ideas for new terms. That might be how they're coming up with all the crazy things that people land on their sites with. Let's move on to another aspect of a great website, and that's functionality. What does functionality mean in this context? It refers to the parts of your website that allow visitors to take actions. If you're making a list of all the functionality you want on your site, it might include a site search, a contact form, an online shopping cart or checkout, or a custom tool designed specifically for your customers. Functionality should support your business goals. Let's look at 2 different scenarios. Scenario 1, you run a shoe repair business. People either call or stop by to get quotes on their repairs. So you could create an online form for customers to submit their information and a picture of their needed repairs so they can get an online quote without visiting the store or calling to give a description of the item and needed repair. Scenario 2, you answer the same set of questions on the phone every day. How can your website help? Create a simple web page, a frequently asked questions page to help customers find answers to the most basic questions. Don't add functionality for the sake of having it. It should always have a purpose. Add functionality that helps customers. For example, if you own a restaurant and your customers constantly ask about the option to place their takeout order online, think about adding an online ordering page to your website. Customers typically want to minimize the amount of time spent performing tasks on your website. Try to minimize steps in the checkout process with features like mobile payments. Keep forms short and sweet. Avoid interruptions like pop-ups when visitors land on your website. Don't embed videos that will autoplay with sound when visitors land on your site. And don't trade user experience for beautiful design. In the case of a website, it's function over form every time. We've covered some big picture topics, including goals, organization, functionality, and now let's look at how easy it is to navigate your site. This section is focused on design, but not how pretty it looks, how intuitive it is. In other words, does your site design naturally lead visitors through a process on the site. Can visitors use your site without struggling or even thinking hard and accomplish tasks? A design that's easy to use can have a significant impact on whether your site supports your business goals. Let's take a look at a few things to consider when building a great experience for your website visitors. One is navigation. Make it easy to get around your site. You can do this by highlighting elements that are selected, for example, when choosing options on an e-commerce store. Designing your site to allow plenty of space for users to tap. Think of the mobile visitor trying to navigate, so not cramming it all in there together. If your site includes a call to action or CTA, make it tappable to take visitors directly to the content they want to access. And this example shows where you can click on Learn More easily on the mobile app, and you have plenty of room to do so. Next, make it easy for customers to shop, continue shopping, and or come back to an earlier page to ensure that if they come back to the site after a break. Notice that this example has an easy add it to cart button to allow customers to continue shopping. Another tip is to recommend similar products throughout the shopping experience to make it easy for them to find what they need. So you might have a matching pillow for this pure cotton blanket, and then that'll add to your sales. Tip 3 is to make it easy for visitors to check out and pay on mobile devices. How many of you have visited a website and tried to check out only to have difficulty entering your credit card numbers or updating order details? A difficult checkout process can have a major impact on a website's conversion rate. Here are some things you can do to make it easier for your visitors to check out. Reduce the number of steps in the checkout process. Show visitors progress as they move through the checkout process. This lets them know they are just about done. This image you see on the screen shows the checkout progress for Janus motorcycles. Use guest checkouts so visitors don't have to create an account to make a purchase. Just make sure to offer them an option to sign up and save their profiles for next time, preferably after the transaction is complete. Last, you can enable digital wallets such as Google Pay or Apple Pay to make payment easier. I know I use Apple Pay all the time when I'm checking out for things, and I love not having to, walk somewhere and have to pull my credit card out of my wallet. It's so nice to just double click and move on. Since we know that mobile is so important, it's a good idea to be sure your website is compatible with all devices. Google's Chrome Inspector tool found within Google Chrome helps you test your website's compatibility from all different device types. To use Google Chrome Inspector, navigate to your website in a Chrome browser. Right-click anywhere on the web page. From the pop-up window, select Inspect. On the right-hand toolbar, select the icon labeled Toggle Device Toolbar. This will display a drop-down menu above your website labeled Responsive. From there, you can use the drop-down menu to view how your website appears on many types of devices.
That's really cool. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool too. I mean, who would think?
Yeah.
Look how far we've come. Last but not least, a great website is search friendly. You invested resources, including a business website. You want to be sure people can find it when they search online. The process of helping a website increase its visibility on search engines is called search engine optimization, or SEO. SEO could merit its own presentation, but this section will give you some tips to get your site off to a good start. Being findable in the Google's search results is critical for a business website that depends on visitor traffic. Most people can use search engines first when they are looking for answers, and that is true for 75% of smartphone owners. This image of a Google search results page might look familiar, but let's break it down by sections. At the top, you see a word, phrase, or even a question that the searcher typed in called a search query. Below the search query, you see the search results. The results can include ads identified with a sponsored or ad label. On this screenshot, you see shopping ads with thumbnail images of the products for sale. Below that, you see a text ad. Underneath the ads in the center well of the page, you see the start of the natural or organic results. Creating a search-friendly site helps increase your chances of appearing in the organic results. Google's algorithm identifies organic results, the most relevant and useful matches for the search. Clicks on links in the organic results are free. It's important to note that websites cannot pay Google to appear in the organic results, and advertising does not influence a website's organic presence or position. On the right sidebar, you see a business profile on Google. Local businesses with a storefront or service can create a free business profile using a tool called Google My Business, which shows info on Google Search and Maps. And we have a presentation of that on Campbell County Public Library's YouTube page of the being found easily on Google Search and Maps. Now that you understand the elements of a search results page, it might be helpful to understand that Google decides what information to display. How does search work? Imagine that the web is a book with trillions of pages. Google's job is to read the book, categorize pages, and help searchers find info on these pages. Easy? To read the pages, Google uses software called a web crawler or a spider. As new pages are found, they are added to Google's index. When people search, results are pulled from the index. To find the most relevant results, Google's algorithm uses 200 plus signals. Examples of these signals include the freshness of content of website content on the site, so how newly updated it is, the number of other websites linking to a particular site and the authority of those links, quality of the content on the site, the URL and page title, whether the best result is a web page, image, video, news article, etc. Websites that want to improve their chances of appearing higher in Google search results use search engine optimization, known as SEO. Some people hire companies or consultants to help with SEO. Others work on SEO themselves. Here are a few tips for helping your website appear in the search results. Tip 1 is to optimize load time, especially for mobile devices. You can test your site's mobile speed at g.co/testmysite. The tool can generate a free report that outlines areas on your site that could be improved. Original content, useful, information-rich, clear, and accurate, include keywords users would type to find your pages, and make sure that your site actually includes those words. Ding, ding, Emily. For links, especially in the navigation, use text when possible. If it is an image, make sure to include relevant alt tags, ALT, or alt description. Adding internal links will help your website visitors find other areas of your website. So the alt tags, in my experience, are little descriptions of the images. So if somebody hovers over it, that's what pops up for them, or it can be read out by readers.
And that's important for like accessibility, right?
Yes, for accessibility, sorry. Your website should include descriptive page titles and accurate page descriptions. Many content management systems include areas where you can add them for each page. Make each page title and description unique to that page. Remember information architecture, and that's that hierarchy or outline we were looking at earlier. It not only helps your human visitors, it helps Google interpret the content, including what's important info and what is less important on your website. Remember to design your site for all browsers, device types, and sizes, including desktops, tablets, and smartphones. Another tool from Google that can help you to monitor, maintain, and troubleshoot your site's presence in Google search results is Google Search Console. Search Console is free. It measures your website's search traffic and performance, fix issues, and help your site look its best in Google search results. Even if you won't be using Search Console yourself, you should be aware of it. Become familiar with the basics of optimizing your site for search engines and know what features are available. If you hire someone to help with SEO, Search Console will likely be used to monitor website traffic, optimize ranking, and understand how the site appears in search results. The information from Search Console reports can influence technical decisions and offer marketing analysis in conjunction with other Google tools like Google Analytics, Google Trends, and Google Ads, most of which we've discussed previously. To sign up for a free Search Console account, start by visiting g.co/Search Console. And I'll be posting a document with all these links, and I can send it directly to you all. You will need to add a website property to your Search Console account and verify your ownership. You can create a property that includes an entire domain or a property that is limited to a single branch of that domain, like example.com/clothing. Once verification is complete, your account will be ready and it will start collecting data for the reports. Visit the Help Center and learn more about what you can do with Search Console, but here are some highlights. You can receive an email if any unusual events occur with your website. Unusual events include indications that your website has been hacked or problems that Google have in crawling or indexing your site. Google will also email you if there is any detection that your site violates Google's search quality guidelines. You can search your Search Console status. You want to make sure that your site isn't experiencing an increase in errors or have any unusual dips in click counts. These could be signs of issues on your site that could be affecting your search ranking. And you can tell Google which pages to crawl by adding and updating your site map. And you can also tell Google which pages not to crawl by using robots.txt or no index tags. That's a little more advanced and technical. Here's a look inside Search Console. Check out all the available tools and reports, including the performance report, which shows important metrics about how your site performs in Google search results, how often it comes up, the average position in search results, click-through rate, and any special features such as rich results associated with your results. The URL inspection tool, which allows you to check a specific URL on your website to see the status of how Google search sees that URL. This tool provides detailed crawl, index, and serving information about your pages directly from the Google index. The mobile usability report, which shows which pages in your property have usability problems when viewed on mobile devices. That one's super important. Finally, you should think about your website not as your total presence online, but one small piece of the online puzzle. You have many ways to connect with your audience online. Sometimes you meet your customers in other ways, like Google Ads or a YouTube channel. Be sure to connect all the ways your business appears online to help customers interact with your brand in as many ways as they can. So we've talked about a lot today, but let's talk about what to do next. Start by making a list of business goals that you want to support with your website. If you're building a new site, choose a design that works on all browsers and devices. If you've had your site for a while, check to see how it performs on all devices, especially mobile. Third, create or recreate a plan for your content, your website's information architecture. Organize will help human visitors and search engines navigate your website more easily. Once you have your plan, start adding content. The more often you can publish useful original content on your site, the better. That was one of the things that Google Analytics picked up is how fresh your information is. Think about how your website can offer functionality that supports your business goals. Before investing the time and resources building a custom tool, it's worth checking to see if existing software can be bought or licensed for your site. And last but not least, be search engine friendly. If search engines can't find your website, potential customers will have a difficult time finding your site. So here are some of the resources that we talked about and some others. If you want to sharpen your business and marketing skills, check out Primer. This is a free app you can download to your phone. If you have an Android device, you can download it on Google Play. If you have an Apple device, you can download it from the App Store. This has a series of short fun lessons that are all less than 5 minutes each. These are quick help videos for businesses where you can get answers and learn how to make the most of Google tools in just minutes. You'll learn things like how to get your business list on Google Search and Maps, how to create a YouTube channel for your business, how to start a Google Meet conference, etc. And then you can also continue learning topics like we've talked about here today with Google On Air. They have recorded webinars like this that are presentations to help you do almost anything you're interested in doing, learn how to do them. They guide you right through it. And you can get to that by g.co/growonair. And you can use Grow with Google, which we are doing this webinar through today. This is a Grow with Google webinar. It's a new initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their businesses. So job seekers can grow their skills. Teachers can put the latest technology to work in their classrooms. Small business owners can build an online presence. Startups can learn how to get their ideas exposure, and developers can sharpen their current skills and master new ones. It's really amazing all the tools that are offered through Google now. And I've learned about a few myself as I've been researching Grow with Google. So there's lots more content out there for you. And so I thank you all for coming today. And Sean, if you want to comment and provide me with your email address, I'll be happy to send you that resource document. But we will also be posting this to our YouTube channel, and I will link that document there. But thank you all.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
You too.